What is up, guys, and welcome back to my F1 2016 career mode. Now, if you missed any of the previous 5 episodes, then you can click the little annotation in the top right hand corner of your screens to go catch up there. I uploaded the Spanish Grand Prix earlier today, so you might have missed that one. So if you have, click the top right hand corner and you can go catch up there with what happened at the Spanish Grand Prix. But we're here for round 6, Monaco, the big one, the jewel on the F1 calendar, and yeah, we're very excited about this race. I tend to do well at Monaco, so hopefully that can carry on here today. We're currently 10th in the standings. We dropped down after the Spanish Grand Prix last time out. It was a really disappointing race for us. Lost out a lot of points. We finished last. We just didn't have the pace of that circuit, and then didn't help that we were involved in 2 incidents in that race. So not the best results, 22nd, but we'll be looking to bounce back here today in Monaco, and that put us down into 10th in the standings behind Sergio Perez, and also put us down in the constructors standings as well. But there's nothing really else to go over, so let's head into the Monaco Grand Prix.
Hey, good to see you again. The factory sent over the parts that were looking good on the rig. They're being fitted as we speak. Have a look at the report.
So there we go, we have a bit of R&D development on our car that we of course did at the Spanish Grand Prix. So we decided to upgrade our downforce, and there we go, so it's increased, yes, so it's increased by 2.4%. We decided to do that because, you know, we're heading into the Monaco Grand Prix and it's very downforce reliant. So we need to make sure that the downforce was upgraded on our car, because that is pretty much the only thing that we haven't touched apart from the fuel. And Manor Racing have also gone to ham on upgrading their car, upgrading the drag, the chassis weight and the fuel consumption of their car. And I'm pretty sure they've probably moved above Sauber now in the little research and development board. We've also increased our downforce, so that's there on the left hand side. And I'm pretty sure Ferrari also upgraded a bit of their car as well, so that would probably put them level with Mercedes, of course, in the R&D development race. But in the rivalry at the moment between me and Felipe Massa, we are losing 14-20 after a very disappointing Spanish Grand Prix, and we will be looking to get back at Felipe Massa, of course, in this qualifying session, and of course in the race as well, and hopefully that will move us back above Felipe Massa, and we'll be definitely looking to beat him and overtake him in, of course, the Canadian Grand Prix. But that's it for now. Let's head into practice.
Welcome to Monaco for this weekend's Formula One Grand Prix. It's a race that is truly steeped in history, but before the drivers turn their attention to winning, they first need to get through today's tricky practice session. Lowe's hairpin is the slowest corner of any track on the Formula One calendar. It's taken at just 48 kilometers an hour, but provides a stunning view on the first lap as the entire grid bunches up and tiptoes through the corner, hoping not to leave any carbon fibre parts behind.
This is such a tight bend that a special steering rack is used just to get around this very corner, as the cars would not normally be able to make the turn. There is the possibility of overtaking through Lowe's, but more often than not, you'll end up damaging your car.
So here we go, practice 1 at the Monaco Grand Prix, and coming into this crazy section in the track acclimatization. It's just absolutely crazy. Gates beeping all over the place. You go through all of these corners, especially this next part coming up, and you wouldn't be able to tell that it was a practice lap by the way that the car is skidding out on me. I'm absolutely like hammering it through this practice lap. We're coming through the last couple of corners now. So far so good. We're beating the green target score. Are we going to beat the purple one through the last corner now? DRS open, and have we beaten it? Yes, we have. There we go. So we've got a purple score in the track acclimatization test, which is brilliant news, and we're not going to go out for another one. And on the time management as well, that was pretty good. We got 5 purples and I think a green, and then I got a red in the last one because I wasn't pushing, because I'd already beaten the purple target time, so I didn't really care too much about the final lap. And then coming into the qualifying run down towards the line, this one's going to be enough to beat the green. I'm not too sure. It might have beaten the purple as well, and we do cut across the corner there, but we won't go for another lap, so we're just sort of slowing down and heading back into the menu. So just looking at the R&D development, we are going to upgrade our fuel efficiency. We've got 370 resource points, and we could have saved them for maybe a better engine or a better chassis weight or downforce or drag, which we probably should have done, to be fair, but we thought, you know, that's the only thing we haven't upgraded yet. Fuel efficiency going into Canada, it could be quite bad. We want to run in rich mix for quite a lot in that race, so we upgrade that, and hopefully that will help us there. But that's really it for the R&D at this Monaco Grand Prix. Let's head into qualifying.
Here we are at one of the most difficult circuits on the racing calendar. Welcome to Monaco for today's Formula One qualifying.
Here we go then, the start of Q1 at the Monaco Grand Prix. And now it should be fairly easy for us to get out of Q1 and of course into Q3 and maybe into Q3 as well. We're just going to have to wait and see for that. But it should be fairly easy for us to get into Q1. But, you know, this is Monaco. A crash could mean race weekend over for us. So we're just going to have to watch out for that, and hopefully we do get out of Q1. But here we are ending our first lap in this qualifying session. And what is the time going to be good enough for? It's a 1:16.453. Now that is not a good lap at all in qualifying, but we're coming down towards line. We're currently 12 behind Rio Haryanto down towards line. Kimi Räikkönen coming out of the pits, and it's 1:15.6, and that's enough to go above Carlos Sainz up into 8th position. And I think it's going to be enough to get into Q2, and it is. I think so, actually. We haven't got covered there. Yes, so it is. We're in P14 at the moment. Jolyon Palmer just scraping through into Q2 as well. He's in 16th place. Esteban Gutierrez, Nico Hülkenberg, and Sergio Perez, both the Force India drivers out of Q1, and that is because they are lacking behind in the R&D test. But let's head into Q2. And here we are in Q2 now, coming down towards the line for our one and only lap in this qualifying session, because it was enough to get into Q3. So a very, very quick lap there in Q2. 1:15.222. It was enough for 7th place in the qualifying session, and that puts us into the top 10 battle for Q3. And in Q3, we just sort of carried on that momentum, coming down towards the line for our first lap in qualifying 3. It's good enough for 10th position, which is at the back of the field at the moment. But we come around the final corner once again, down towards the line. It is an improvement. What is the time good enough for? A 1:14.992. Good enough for 6th place at the moment. There are a few drivers that haven't set laps. Kimi Räikkönen has now jumped up above us into P6. But coming down towards the line, final lap here in qualifying. Have we jumped up? Yes, we have. We're up into P6 here for qualifying. A great result, and we can definitely look forward to starting in P6 on the grid in tomorrow's race. But there we are, P6 in qualifying 3, P6 in qualifying Sebastian Vettel. He is the guy that lines up in pole position. He's got Max Verstappen lining up behind him in second. A great qualifying session from the Red Bull driver. Lewis Hamilton's in third with Daniel Ricciardo in fourth. It looks like the Red Bulls and the Ferraris are sort of jumping above Mercedes at the moment in the R&D, which is not good news for them. Nico Rosberg is down in 5th, whereas we are in 6th. Kimi Räikkönen behind us in 7th with Danny Kvyat alongside him in 8th. Felipe Massa at 9th. And Roman Grosjean will start the race in 10th position. That is it for today's qualifying. Let's head into the race.
Motor racing has come a long way since the first Grand Prix of the early 20th century. We have faster cars, bigger circuits, highly trained drivers who dedicated their lives to racing. But still, we return here. Still, it remains the most desired victory in Formula One. Still, we race the Monaco Grand Prix. The astonishing Circuit de Monaco is, for all intents and purposes, virtually unchanged since its inaugural race back in 1929. The faster cars of today, though, ensure the 19 corners past the casino and along the seafront remain as thrilling as ever. A 2.1-mile lap here takes us around an entire country, yet never more than inches from the race-ending barriers. And as the drivers start thinking about getting a good start and how on earth to get through Saint-Devote in one piece, I have to wonder, Anthony Davidson, if we might be seeing a safety car or two today.
Well, you wouldn't exactly bet against it, would you? Statistically, it is pretty common, of course. About 80% of all Monaco Grand Prix will have at least one safety car. And that's despite the incredible work of the marshals around here, who you'll often see lifting cars out of the way just under the yellow flag conditions. The teams will always plan for the worst case scenario though, and they'll be making sure various caution periods are built into their strategy models for the race.
Okay, don't try anything silly into one. It's going to be crazy in there. Just do your best to stay out of trouble.
It's race time for the Monaco Grand Prix, and we are starting in a fantastic 6th position on the grid. Unfortunately, it is raining, and that's going to make things really, really difficult as we go down in towards turn 1. We're going to try and keep it clean, keep our nose clean down towards turn 1. Not like not like the Russian Grand Prix where we went into the back of Kimi Räikkönen, but just looking at the race strategy, we are starting on the wet, but it is going to dry out as the race goes on. So we're just going to go for the one-stop strategy and just try and wait out until the dry tyre phase, which should come just before the halfway stage of the race. Hopefully it does, because then we can definitely maximise our positions, because if the other AI drivers decide to pit, then we are going to jump them. But here we go, getting underway for the formation lap. And a lot different to the last race in Spain. We're starting a lot further up, so we're getting underway very, very quickly. And now we can start with our procedure of warming up the tyres, warming up the brakes, and just trying to make sure that the car is ready for the start of the race. We go through turn 1, losing the back end just a little bit, but we're just putting the power down early on just to try and get a bit of temperature into the rear tyres. But the lights coming on now, 5 red lights, lights out, and away we go for the Monaco Grand Prix, down towards turn 1, and the back end slips away from us, but it kind of helps us out as we go to the inside line in towards turn 1. Side by side with Nico Rosberg, we give him a lot of room, so much room in fact that we take a lot of curb on the turn 1, but nevertheless Nico Rosberg has got 4th position away from us. We knock the front wing just a little bit there on the right-hand side. We have moved up into P5 in this race. A fantastic result so far for us at the moment. But, you know, we just need to keep our nose clean, keep ourselves out of trouble, and try and hope that we can hold on to a good position, a points-paying position in this race. You know, I'm not aiming for 5th, I'm not aiming for 6th, I'm aiming just to get in the points. If I get in the points in this race, it will be an absolutely fantastic result. But we're currently in 5th position. We know that overtaking is difficult at this circuit, so anything can happen, of course, at Monaco. There's yellow flags at the moment going through the Lowe's hairpin, and Marcus Ericsson is out of the race. We're going to have to look at a replay of what happened there, as we are currently going through the tunnel following behind Nico Rosberg. So here we go, a replay of the start. All the cars bunched up together as they go down towards the Lowe's hairpin. On board with Marcus Ericsson now. And it just looks like a whole lot of cars going into the back of each other, and it's just sort of a domino effect going down into the Lowe's hairpin. Unfortunately, Marcus Ericsson is the guy that lost out. So who started? It looks like Esteban Gutierrez. Yes, Esteban Gutierrez was the guy who started. He goes in the back of Jenson Button. Bottas follows. Perez follows. Hulkenberg follows. And then the manner of Rio Haryanto goes into the back of him. Ericsson goes into the back of Rio Haryanto, and Felipe Nasr, his teammate, just barges past, wipes off the front tyre of Marcus Ericsson, and there is Felipe Nasr just sort of barging past, just ignoring that all the cars are stopped in front of him, and yeah, getting a little bit aggressive there down towards the Lowe's hairpin. But we're cutting ahead to lap 9. Now, nothing has happened apart from we just had Daniel Ricciardo right on our tail, but he hasn't been close enough to go for a move, nor has he been brave enough to really go for a move around this track. You know, Monaco is very, very tough to go for an overtake here, and we're coming into the tunnel section now, losing the back end quite a bit as we go into the tunnel. Now it's going to be side by side with Daniel Ricciardo. He's got it on the outside. We're going to hold the inside line. We're going to have the outside line into the Nouvelle chicane. It's side by side with the Red Bull driver. We've locked up big time. We've gone off the track. We're trying to give him as much room as we possibly can. Then he barges us very, very close to hitting the barrier and ruining our race. It's side by side going down into Tabac. Who's going to come out on top? We give him the room on the inside, but it looks like he spun the car anyway. Daniel Ricciardo has had a massive collision there down in towards Tabac. Surely he has got underway again. I don't think he's quite out of the race, but there is a big collision into Tabac, and now we're going to have a look at a replay of what happened on board with Daniel Ricciardo. So coming in towards Portelet, who is going to come out on top? Obviously, we know that Daniel Ricciardo is going to get a good exit through this corner. Daniel Ricciardo, great drive out to Portelet, down through the tunnel, side by side with myself. We're holding the inside line, he's holding the outside. Little bit of a tyre bang on the wall there on the left-hand side. Might have given him a little bit of front wing damage. Coming into the Nouvelle chicane, getting very, very close to the barrier on the left-hand side, but it's still side by side with myself. He gives me a little nudge towards the barrier on the right-hand side. Both of us weaving the car under traction through the left-hand corner. And he, to be fair to him, he had a lot more room on the left-hand side. He had a lot more room to take. And then he reverses into the path of the Toro Rosso, which I think is Carlos Sainz. And that is not good driving from... Whoa! And Jolyon Palmer! Jolyon Palmer has no chill whatsoever. Doesn't bother slamming on the brakes. Goes straight into the Ferrari of Kimi Raikkonen. Hopefully we'll get a replay on board with Jolyon Palmer. But here's a nice shot side by side with Daniel Ricciardo going in towards Tabac now. And yeah, there you go. So just a little clip with Daniel Ricciardo's front right tyre, and unfortunately that has spun him around and probably really ruined his race. On board Jolyon Palmer through the left hand. He doesn't bother braking, straight into the back of Kimi Raikkonen. All the other guys following behind him. And yeah, disaster there for my teammate, going straight into the back of someone else, and that has definitely damaged his front wing. Just looking at the bottom now, the engineer telling us it's looking like it's going to start to get into the dry tyres very, very soon. It's lap 15 at the moment. The team, I think, wants us to pit on maybe lap 19 in this race, so we're not going to go for that. We're going to wait until the dry tyres come into, you know, come into temperature and we're able to go for the dry tyres, and hopefully the leaders ahead of us go for a pit stop on maybe lap 19 or after that. They might do the same strategy as us, but if we can pull this off through strategy, that would be absolutely amazing. If we can go onto the dry tyres and then just sort of hold everyone up, that would be fantastic. But we're on the back of Nico Hulkenberg at the moment, and for the first time on F1 2016, we're actually lapping a driver. Last time out of the Spanish Grand Prix was the first time we got lapped, and this time, this is the first time we're lapping someone. So a lot of change, a lot of stuff has changed since Spain and Monaco. So fantastic that it's going in our favour this time. And Nico Hulkenberg, very, very good sportsmanship, getting out of the way. Up next for us is Felipe Nasr, who knocked out his teammate earlier on in the race. And now we are right behind the Sauber driver. Hopefully, he gets out of the way just like his Nico Hulkenberg did. But we're currently on lap 23 at the moment. Very, very deep in towards this Monaco Grand Prix. The rain has still not eased off for dry tyres as of yet. So, you know, we're already over the scheduled pit stop phase, coming through the right-hander of Raskas. Following behind Felipe Nasr in towards the anti-nodes corner. Is he going to let us through here? We're getting the DRS. No, DRS is not activated, but Felipe Nasr is giving us the room on the right-hand side. And there we go, up into, well, we're still in P5, but we've got past the back marker, and that's fantastic news. Now we can go and try and catch up to Nico Rosberg, but he's very, very far up the field. He's in a sort of cluster at the moment, going down in towards the hairpin, the Lowe's hairpin. But just looking at the tyre wear at the moment, lap 25, still have not come into the pits, and our tyres are 52% at the moment. We've also got a big chunk of front wing damage on the right hand side as well, so we're just trying to nurse the car to the pits whenever that may be. It definitely looks like it's drying up now, and I'm not too sure though when. And there we go, we are no longer sure that these tyres are the right ones, and it might be time to come in and change. That's good news. It's time to come in and change for the dry tyres, but we're just waiting for the strategy to come up on the right hand corner as we've got another bit of front wing damage, destroying our front wing. But, you know, we still got hold of it. 27 laps into this race, we still got hold of our front wing, and that's really, really good news. But coming down in towards the Lowe's hairpin, DRS is now enabled, and the engineer now telling us that there is now a viable strategy change available. What they're going to go ultra soft tyres, and we're definitely going to do that and try and make these ultra soft tyres last the last 12 laps of the race. We're on board with Felipe Nasr, who is just behind us at the moment. He is, of course, a lapped car, so he's not trying to get us. And, oh, his engine's gone. Felipe Nasr, engine has gone, and that is him out of the race, surely, as the virtual safety car is deployed in the race. Unfortunately, it's not the real-life safety car. That would have been fantastic news. Bunch everyone up, although we're all probably going to come into the pits anyway on this lap. We're just trying to get down to the Delta, and it's quite difficult, you know, when the virtual safety car comes out and you're trying to do so many different things at the same time. Obviously, we're trying to come into the pits on this lap. So there we go, strategy change. We're trying to select that. We're also trying to watch our Delta in the top right-hand corner, which you can tell we're completely ignoring right now because we're just driving normally. And there we go, going below it, going into negative, and we're slamming on the brakes while we're trying to put it down into lean mix to try and come into bits. Doing so many things at the same time at this Monaco Grand Prix. It's not good, but here we go, coming into the pit lane. We've got Roman Grosjean behind us on track at the moment, but he is about 19 seconds down the road. Nico Rosberg coming in for a pit stop. He obviously double stacked with Lewis Hamilton, so that is why he is so far behind, and we've actually caught up quite a bit to him. Nico Hulkenberg coming into the pits, but I think we are going to get the jump on him. I think he had to get a new front wing off that collision in on the first lap. And away we go once again. There we go, Nico Hulkenberg behind us. I think we've got another driver behind him, the Haas driver of Roman Grosjean, only just coming into his pit box. That's the gap that we have at the moment to Roman Grosjean, which is fantastic news right now. Going down in towards turn 1, and we remain in P5. We run wide on the exit of the pits, crossing the white line, but very, very lucky not to get a penalty for that. So we've been very, very lucky in this race. But, you know, you need a bit of luck, especially at Monaco. You definitely need a lot of luck. But lap 28 at the moment, 11 laps left to go of this race, and we are just going to absolutely try and push to make sure that we stay on top. But this was a fantastic moment in the race. As we were on the dry tyres now, everybody's setting fastest lap. Verstappen goes fastest, then Bottas goes fastest. In towards the swimming pool section now. Very, very quick through there, cutting it a little bit. Lewis Hamilton, he goes fast with a 1:24.7. In towards the Anthony Nodes corner. Are we going to go fastest on this lap? Nico Rosberg, is he going to go fastest? Because he is now setting a lap time. Yes, he is. He's a 1:24.365, and we go faster with a 1:23.847. And that happened for a couple of laps, and then we dropped off the pace massively. We lost a lot of time in the dry phase of the race. The wet stage, we were really, really quick and really competitive. You know, we weren't too far off the pace of the leaders, but nor were we being challenged by the guys behind us. And Roman Grosjean now on the back of us, but we've got a lapped car of Nico Hulkenberg between us right now as we are on board with the lap driver. The tree's getting in the way, so we can't really see what's happening as we go through to back, but it looks like they're going side by side into to back. Now into the first part of the swim pool, still side by side into the second part. No! Nico Rosberg has lost his front left tyre. He is out of this Monaco Grand Prix, going side by side with Roman Grosjean. Here he is on board, getting lapped at the moment by Roman Grosjean. He holds the inside line, not doing a Daniel Ricciardo, showing Daniel Ricciardo how it's done, and then showing him not how it's done because he goes into the wall, loses his front left tyre, and that is his race over. So, you know, he's not really losing out too much because he is in like 20th or 19th position, but on board with Roman Grosjean, giving him a lot of room, and a lot of room once again through the swim pool section. And then there he goes into left-hander, and that's his race over. But Roman Grosjean, you know, he tried his best to catch up to us. He was very, very close behind us for quite a few laps, but unfortunately, you know, for him, he couldn't actually catch up. And then by lap 39, when this came up right here, that Lewis Hamilton, no, Max Verstappen won the race, I was actually really, really surprised that it was the last lap. I didn't actually realise, because obviously you're not looking up in the top right-hand corner in Monaco. You're just concentrating on the driving so much because, you know, you need to do it here. And unless you're sorting out strategy, you don't need to look at the laps. And so, yeah, I was really, really surprised that this race was over. It went actually really, really quickly at this Monaco Grand Prix. But through the Nouvelle chicane, we still got Romain Grosjean right behind us. The race is not over yet. We're still in 5th position, but we've got Romain Grosjean behind us. Then we have another big train of cars right behind him. So we need to be careful on this final lap, because one mistake and that's our race over and we are out of the points. But through the Rascasse in towards the Anthony Nodes corner, we've got one corner left to go. Then it's the start-finish straight. I'm surely going to come down towards the line for 5th position in this race. Are we going to do it? Yes, we are. It's 5th place at the Monaco Grand Prix. What a fantastic result in this Renault car, and one that I can definitely be very happy about.
So another fantastic victory for Red Bull today. And I have to wonder, Anthony Davidson, just what set them apart from the competition here.
The difference was clearly in the strategy. You could tell they'd done a lot of work on the pit wall to really optimise each stint and get the most out of the tyres. And it highlights just how much of a team sport this really is. But credit to the driver as well, though. There's no good having a well-oiled machine behind the scenes without a talented hand on the wheel, of course.
So here come our winning drivers today, and what a race it was. There's been a big push at the factory lately to get these cars ready, and we can see the fruits of that labour today as Red Bull lift the winner.
So there we go, a great race in the Renault, managing to get home in 5th position at the Monaco Grand Prix. We played qualifying amazingly. Obviously, qualifying is so important at this track. We did that amazingly, got in 6th position, and managed to get past Daniel Ricciardo in towards turn 1. And then it was pretty much a quiet race from us. We didn't have a lot going on. We had a bit of a battle with Daniel Ricciardo at the start, a bit of a battle with Romain Grosjean at the end. But in the middle, there was absolutely nothing happening in that race. It was all about making sure we kept ourselves clean and kept out the barriers, and also made sure that we came into the pits at the right time. But yeah, Max Verstappen, he won today's race, so well done to him getting his first race win in F1. Julian Palmer finishes down in 16th, disappointed for him. Then we have the 3 guys who did not finish off: Nico Hulkenberg, Felipe Nasr and Marcus Ericsson. But let's see how this fantastic result affects us in the drivers' standings. And we are now in 7th place. We've jumped up above Felipe Massa, Daniel Ricciardo and Sergio Perez. All those guys I don't think scored any points here today. So we've jumped up above our rival Felipe Massa, which is of course fantastic news because we need to beat him. Daniel Ricciardo has had a really, really disappointing start to the season. I know the collision was with me, but I don't really feel like it was my fault. We were going side by side into that corner, and it's very, very tight through there, and I feel like Daniel Ricciardo maybe should have given us a little bit of room on the left-hand side. He had enough track on the left-hand side to take, but unfortunately, you know, these things happen, especially when you're going side by side through such tight corners. But we've also got above Sergio Perez as well, who had a fantastic race at the Spanish Grand Prix, and now we've bounced back here in Monaco. We're up to 28 points. We're not too far behind the Toro Rosso of Carlos Sainz. Then Max Verstappen, Kimi Raikkonen, Sebastian Vettel, Nico Rosberg and Lewis Hamilton are so far up the field, so we're not going to bother about those. We're in a Renault. We're not going to even think about trying to get Max Verstappen and above. But Carlos Sainz, you know, we could get him. We're only 3 points behind him, and hopefully that can happen. Let's have a look at how this affects us in the Constructors' standings, though. And in the Constructors' standings, we have moved back up into 6th position, 1 point above Force India. So it's very, very close between us, our 2 teams. Haas F1 team got a lot of points here today. I think McLaren also got quite a few points as well. So Haas is not catching up to us, but they are still in the battle. Williams, we're only 4 points behind them. Toro Rosso, they're quite a bit up the road. So, but if we can string a good couple of results together, then I think we can definitely challenge with those guys. But that is it for today's Monaco Grand Prix. Let's head back to the menus. So an update on the rivalry after that race, and it's not looking so good at the moment. Felipe Massa getting the fastest lap and the fastest Sector 1, Sector 2. He's 2 away from beating us in the rivalry update. So we need a fantastic qualifying session in Canada in order to beat him in the rivalry. Otherwise, he is going to get it. As long as we can get 6 before he gets 1, before he gets 2, and to go 30 out of 30, then we'll be fine. But looking at the stuff in qualifying, if he has a penalty-free session and finishes qualifying, then it's going to be disappointing for us. But back in the menus now, and it was a great race at Monaco. Absolutely fantastic. I knew I was going to go well there, but I didn't really want to jinx it, so I didn't really want to say how well I was going to do. But I definitely felt like I was going to do well there, and I definitely lived up to what I said I was going to do. But looking at the R&D points, we have 336. We could upgrade our fuel efficiency once again, but we're not going to do that. We're going to save them for more of a engine power or drag update on our car. We're probably going to go for engine power next time, because obviously we're coming up to Canada, Azerbaijan, Austria, and those 3 tracks are very, very quick. So, you know, having a fast car in a straight line will be very, very helpful. And then probably by Austria, we will start to think about upgrading downforce for the likes of Britain, Hungary, Germany, Belgium, and then Italy. We'll start thinking about straight line speed again. So that's how the season's sort of going to develop. It's going to be based on, you know, what tracks are coming up. So that's really what we're going to do. But that is it for today's Monaco Grand Prix. If you have enjoyed it, don't forget to smash that like button. Also, subscribe to my channel if you are new around here. We have Formula 1 content coming to you all throughout this week, and of course my career mode coming to you every single day for the whole of season 1. It might even happen for season 2 as well, but we're just gonna have to wait and see for that. But that is it for this Monaco Grand Prix. I'll see you next time at the Canadian Grand Prix, but until then, it's goodbye from me.